This is to force people into submission, to keep them quiet, to keep their criticism of Donald Trump and his jackbooted thuggery under wraps. Republicans, Donald Trump, Stephen Miller, oh, they're so excited right now. Fox News is just beside themselves with giddiness and glee. We're going to denaturalize American citizens. The same thing that so many of us talked about after having read Project 2025, that so many people were like, oh, you're being an alarmist. Oh, that's not going to happen. Quit being a saber rattler. Quit being a bomb thrower. Quit trying to scare everyone. That's not going to happen. It's starting to happen. Let me read just the headline from this NPR article, and then I'm going to go to a clip where Peter Doocy in the White House press briefing room asked the press secretary, Karoline Leavitt, about seeking denaturalization and deportation of American citizen and Democratic nominee for New York City Mayor, Zohran Mamdani. This is the headline first. DOJ announces plan to prioritize cases to revoke citizenship. And there is some scary, scary shit in this article because you are not entitled to a lawyer, to legal representation if it's a civil case. And that's how they intend to denaturalize American citizens, to revoke the citizenship and then seek deportation proceedings in civil court where you are not entitled to legal representation. First, though, here's Peter Doocy asking the question about flat out deportation or denaturalization. And I want you to notice that Karoline Leavitt does not outright deny. It's, well, I haven't talked to the president. We're not ruling it out. If those things are true that you're saying about lyrics from a rap song that I don't even know what they're talking about, that it should be investigated. Here's the clip, then we'll talk about it. There's all kinds of parallels that we could draw about the freedom of speech that we supposedly still have in this country that protects especially political speech, especially art. Watch this.
Peter.
Thank you, Caroline. Does President Trump want Zohran Mamdani deported?
I haven't heard him say that. I haven't heard him call for that. But certainly he does not want this individual to be elected. I was just speaking to him about it and his radical policies that will completely crush New York City, which is obviously a city that the president holds near and dear to his heart.
There's this Congressman, Andy Ogles. He wants the Attorney General Bondi to explore denaturalization proceedings because he thinks Mamdani could have misrepresented or concealed material support for terrorism based on rap lyrics he wrote in 2017. Does President Trump think this is a worthwhile use of the Attorney General's time?
Well, I'll let the president speak to that. I have not seen those claims, but surely if they are true, it's something that should be investigated.
And could President Trump see himself, you said you just talked to him about this, could he see himself working with a Mayor Mamdani, somebody who on Meet the Press this weekend was given 3 chances to condemn the phrase globalize the intifada, but he couldn't?
Yeah, look, the president is always willing to work with everyone. He's working with Democrats across the country, Democrat governors, and he said he'll work with people on the far left. He works with Republicans. He works with people in the middle. He wants to do what's right for America, but surely someone who holds these values and is quite literally a communist and condemns every value that makes this country great. Common sense, law and order, low taxes, working hard, and earning your keep in this country. He's against all of that, and I think the president would find it difficult to work with someone like that. If he is elected, I'm sure you'll hear more from the president on that, but we'll have to see. Hopefully the voters of New York City choose wisely.
The Republican Party is running full steam ahead with this. And you will notice, other than the tongue-in-cheek manner with which Donald Trump talked about Elon Musk today, this entire policy agenda being forced by the DOJ and Donald Trump and Stephen Miller and all of these racists, this will be the boot of the government, the weight of the jurisprudence system in this country coming down on black and brown people. This isn't going to be used to inflict harm on white guys straight, white, middle-class fellas. This is going to be used by against people like Mamdani, like people who have written op-eds against Donald Trump, who are also brown, who also are of a different faith than Christianity. That's what we're going to see here. It's already started. It's already started. So here is again that headline. DOJ announces plans to prioritize cases to revoke citizenship. The Justice Department is aggressively prioritizing efforts to strip some Americans of their U.S. citizenship. Department leadership is directing its attorneys to prioritize denaturalization in cases involving naturalized citizens who commit certain crimes, and giving U.S. attorneys wider discretion on when to pursue this tactic, according to a June 11th memo published online. The move is aimed at U.S. citizens who were not born in this country. According to data from 2023, close to 25 million immigrants were naturalized citizens. Denaturalization is a tactic that was heavily used during the McCarthy era of the late 1940s and the early 1950s, and one that was expanded during the Obama administration and grew further during President Trump's first term. It's meant to strip citizenship from those who may have lied about their criminal convictions or membership in illegal groups like the Nazi Party or communists during the McCarthyism on their citizenship applications. Assistant Attorney General Brett Shumate wrote in a memo that pursuing denaturalization will be among the agency's top 5 enforcement priorities for the Civil Division. Specifically, he said this, quote, "The Civil Division shall prioritize and maximally pursue denaturalization proceedings in all cases permitted by law and supported by the evidence," he said. Again, and I don't listen. There's only so many ways you can talk about things. There's so many unique ways to conjure language to describe the hypocrisy of the Republican Party surrounding this specific issue, especially. The party that acts like I'm proud to be an American, that acts like citizenship is so special, that we are exceptional as a country. We are an exceptional country, filled to the brim with exceptional people. Unless you oppose Donald Trump's policies. And then that special thing that you possess, that no one can take away, will be taken away. This is to force people into submission, to keep them quiet, to keep their criticism of Donald Trump and his jackbooted thuggery under wraps. The focus on denaturalization is just the latest step by the Trump administration to reshape the nation's immigration system across all levels of government, turning it into a major focus across multiple federal agencies. That has come with redefining who is let into the United States or has the right to be an American. Since his return to office, the president has sought to end birthright citizenship and scale back refugee programs. While, by the way, scaling back refugee programs, unless you're white and from South Africa where you're in danger, white genocide, brr. But if you're actually given protected status because of political violence or gang violence or just general chaos and disarray in your country, like in Haiti or Venezuela, oh, no, you're brown, you're black. Nope, not for you. But if you're white, we can't wait to open the floodgates to you in the United States. That's because they want a white ethno-state. That's what they want for the United States. It's becoming more and more cemented every single day. And for those who did say, oh, you're just being alarmist, this isn't going to happen. There'll be no difference between a Kamala Harris administration and a Donald Trump administration. Maybe it's time to start eating that crow, you morons. But immigration law experts express serious concerns about the effort's constitutionality and how this could impact families of naturalized citizens. The DOJ memo says that the federal government will pursue denaturalization cases via civil litigation, an especially concerning move, said Cassandra Robertson, a law professor at Case Western Reserve University. In civil proceedings, any individual subject to denaturalization is not entitled to an attorney, Robertson said. There is also a lower burden of proof for the government to reach, and it's far easier and faster to reach a conclusion in these cases. Robertson said that stripping Americans of citizenship through civil litigation violates due process and infringes on the rights guaranteed by the 14th Amendment. Now, they didn't just ask trial lawyers and people who are immigration experts. They also went to the Heritage Foundation and asked the fascist ghouls there what they think about this particular policy that was outlined in Project 2025, that has been spoken about and hinted about. You know, the same Project 2025 that Donald Trump had no idea what it was. He disavowed it. This isn't going to happen, he said during the campaign. Remember when Anna Kasparian said, well, he says he knows nothing about it. It's not going to be a thing. When leftists and progressives were out there taking up for and defending MAGA and Donald Trump. Remember that. Never forget the betrayal of the actual ideals of progressivism, of the betrayal of vulnerable Americans. Remember that. Don't forget the Anna Kasparians and the Cenk Uygurs and the rest of the flip-flopping, clout-chasing attention seekers. Here's from the Heritage Foundation, just a stone's throw from those grifters I just mentioned. Hans von Spakovsky, very, very European name, with the Conservative Heritage Foundation, supports the DOJ's denaturalization efforts. Quote, I do not understand how anybody could possibly be opposed to the Justice Department taking such action to protect the nation from obvious predators, criminals, and terrorists. Here's the other thing. Anybody Donald Trump doesn't like, anybody whose views, whose skin tone does not align with what the Heritage Foundation believes is sufficiently American, is a criminal, a predator, and a terrorist. It doesn't mean they're actual criminals, predators, and terrorists. It just means that's what they're labeled by these jackbooted Nazi fucks. As for the due process concerns, said Spakovsky, nothing prevents that alien. They're not aliens. They are citizens of the United States, you dipshit. As for the due process concerns, nothing prevents that alien from hiring their own lawyer to represent them. They are not entitled to have the government and thus the American taxpayer pay for their lawyer because it's civil, not criminal. Final paragraph here. That is not a due process violation, says this fascist, since all immigration proceedings are civil matters and no individuals, including American citizens, are entitled to government-furnished lawyers in any type of civil matter, he said. And of course, when reached out for comment, the White House, the Trump White House, afraid of its own shadow because they are butt bullies, declined to comment. This is the latest salvo in the fight against liberty, in the fight against equal justice under the law, equal protection under the law, of the latest effort to make the United States a white ethno-state, because the Republican Party is the largest and most effective white supremacy organization on the planet. It is but an age-old white power movement, the Republican Party. Make the case otherwise. You know what? I'll leave it there. Make the case otherwise, trolls. Comment below. You can also call the voicemail line. Well, I welcome these voicemails. 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me daily@dollemore.com. Follow me on social media. You can tell me how wrong I am there at Dollemore. And if you want to help support this work, if you are not a troll who hates America and Americans, you can click the join button below, become a channel member for $2 a month, or go to my Patreon page, patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast. I love and appreciate you very much. I'll see you next time. Keep your head on a swivel. We're going to need to wrap our arms around one another in our communities, making sure people are safe and protected. And if you have that privilege to be in that position, please do. Please do. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Be genuine, Take care of one another.